right now we're at the point where we want to build something. And so we've taken the steps to start our nonprofit. We're registered with the IRS, we're registered with the Secretary of State now, the DOR, and then we're on the road to 501c3. So, but we're serious about what we're doing. We want to start the ground running. We want the right people in place to help just push us forward in a new direction of Seattle. We're recording this because we need to establish a board, and that's one of the things that we need to do is just record our minutes, and it's easiest for us just to transcribe a video. So I have to have everyone say that it's okay that I open a bank account at the ECU. Is it okay that Crystal Kelly opens a bank account on behalf of Seattle Rejuvenation Project at the ECU?
Yes.
Okay. So approval for that, or does anyone not approve? Okay, so that's good. We do need help. We need someone, hopefully one of our business owners have a good resource for a bookkeeper to set up QuickBooks. Our biggest thing is we want complete transparency, so we want our QuickBooks to be linked to our live website at all times, so all board members, everybody can see exactly where money is coming from. So we just want to make sure it's set up correctly in the beginning. Preview website. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so we've been working really hard on creating a website. The biggest things we want to identify are what are the first goals. I have some ideas, but I'm just going to serve as executive director of the board, so I want the board to have I want the board to be behind me on what those goals are too, because I can implement anything, I can make anything happen, but I want it to be what the community wants, what the board wants, what the vision is. Get a collective vision.
Being as when we have had these meetings with these city council members, the police and the homelessness are the two major, the most important right now. And I've seen that at the three different meetings. And you being who you are, and you know the city, and you live here, and you've had frustrations, and we've had frustrations, and positives. We want to start really bringing a positive vibe back to the city through law and order, and through, the judges doing their jobs too. So this is a big step to maybe you have some ideas that we can get from you as a group, and we can start to attack these areas through social media and through letters to the mayor and to all these different, that we can start getting people that we know to in Pioneer Square and in SODO and in Georgetown and in South Park, and we all kind of get together and we can kind of start telling the city, hey, we got to run it like a business and start learning, smarter, better decision-making process with the process of security and safety is who you are. So that's a real big issue that I think we should need to talk about. Maybe you have some ideas that we can think about. You can kind of maybe educate us a little bit.
I'm happy to. First, I'm required to give a disclaimer that I'm here as a private citizen. I'm not here to speak on behalf of the police department. For the police department, I cannot comment on policy. I cannot make any criticism. So whatever I say is my own sole opinion. I just have to make that very, very clear to everyone. So, that being said, as I mentioned before, I've been with the department for 31 years, so I've seen a few things change over time. I've watched the homeless situation grow and grow. Obviously, our efforts to combat that the last couple of decades, I think we're year 17 or so of our 10-year plan to end homelessness. Has seemed to work.
It's about worse than you said.
Yeah, very sympathetic to, in particular, all of the business owners in Seattle, especially downtown, and now West Seattle, because it is an approach there. 5-6 years ago, West Seattle didn't see people sleeping on the sidewalks anymore. Now it does. So clearly, the practice that we've done has not worked. A friend who immigrated here opened a business in downtown, and she's been there for 27 or so years now, I think. And yeah, she has sold because she cannot bear it. My sympathy is definitely there. Our approaches have not worked. I am optimistic again, and that is resurging optimism for me because I just foolish that way. I do have better confidence right now in our leadership. I think that Mayor Harold, he is from Seattle, does remember what it used to be like. It was a world-class city. And I think he envisions that again, so he has my support. Now, of course, he has to do battle with council. I saw him yesterday or the day before. I guess it was on Friday. Maybe on Friday, yeah. And they voted down. It's like, this is a very reasonable step. Maybe we still iron that out. But that is one thing, is we do not have right now any meaningful carrot and stick approach to the drug problem. And that really is something, Everett has had much better success. You see somebody doing heroin on your doorstep in your business, you have an option. You can go to jail or you get treatment. We're going to offer you either one. Which one do you want? That's your choice. And when we don't have either option, if we're going to wait for the person to decide that it's time that they want to get treatment, well, that doesn't happen. What happens is they end up dying on the street. At a rate right now, I believe, of about 3.5 a day from fentanyl overdose. So that's the latest stat I have. As of June 13, King County Medical Examiner's Office has recorded the average of 3.5 a day. So that's our reality.
Well, I have a family member that is struggling, and we try to get this person treatment, and in the end, we want him a lot. And I've talked to a lot of parents; they want their kids to get arrested, so at least go back and try again and keep doing that instead of so. That was been a big issue for me.
So many officers, they have the common story they'll tell is the person that they arrested for DUI. And later on, the DUI suspect, who doesn't have much time, later on they come back and they say thank you. Because that forced their hand, they put through the treatment, it cost them a bunch of money, but it was what they needed. They needed an extra kick to get the help that they needed. And now their life is squared away, and they're living a happy, healthy life. So, to ignore that, you say, well, it's not, we don't want to criminalize things. Well, I understand it's a problem that folks have. I don't want to demonize them. But if we don't have another method to help them along, the carrot and the stick, to encourage them into a path that's better for them, better for everybody else, well, then we're going to just continue this rotation, this merry-go-round along.
So I did an Alex, but he didn't go to this one, but we here at Seattle Cleanup.
Yes.
And we did 15,000 pounds of garbage in a block radius, and then I would go in and talk to these people. Hey, so where are you from? 9 out of 10 of these people got a one-way ticket to sanctuary cities. So I don't know how we can get that
I met a few days ago with the head of King County Metro, and I asked the same question, like where can we change? What can happen? And she said that the number one thing that needs to change are the policies and the laws. Because she said she has enough officers on the King County Metro force on their I forget what she called it, but they literally cannot touch anybody. So people are doing drugs on the bus, even though there's enforcement, but they can't do anything. She's like, they're useless right now. And so riding the bus is not safe. And
anytime you went by a bus and there's like 2 people.
Oh yeah, it's just not safe anymore to ride the bus, and it's not safe for our kids to play on the streets. It's not safe, it's just not safe. We can't be a community until we're safe. So what we've put as our priorities and our vision is homelessness and public safety at the top of the first step we want to take. Because ultimately, we want this city revitalized, rejuvenated with the music and the arts and the things that really make the city thrive. But we're not disillusioned artists that just think, oh, we can go paint it pretty. We gotta fix this from the inside.
So on a positive note, we've been to Folk Life over Memorial Day. I was shocked at how clean it was. And it was really, I was expecting mayhem, like, oh, I've been to Folk Life in years, this is going to be you know, there were a few police officers around, but not that many, but it was really, and so I was thinking, are Ann and Bruce making a big difference? Because, you know, she's the prosecutor. You know,
They're starting to.
there must be something happening.
Takes a while.
It was
It's-
a
Yeah, it's not
couple
gonna happen
over here,
overnight.
though, but I would have, something changed, that's for sure, from what I saw maybe 2 or 3 years ago in the hospital. So,
I don't want to be a wet blanket, but there was a friend of mine, a friend who's a judge, and he sent me an opinion that came in yesterday from federal court, Judge Peckman in the federal court here, that essentially ruled that the graffiti public property destruction that was done during 2020, the spray painting on the barricades and whatnot, the Jersey barriers that were put up, that the city paid for, and, you know, granted it's not like a pumping out of the building, but it's still a public property destruction, or, that was deemed, in her view, a violation of First Amendment expression. So,
good Lord, seriously?
on the one hand, you have facing public property that is ostensibly legal now, yet on the other hand, we have the fellow who is openly doing drugs on the street, and that is unenforceable. So that's
What, you threw a wet blanket on my...
I'm sorry. No, we need those numbers. Those are important to take on.
People need to see that it is just terrible conditions. And I'm so tired of hearing, well, it's too expensive to get housing, we need more housing, all that kind of stuff. Because I don't know about you, when I was in college, I lived in a house with 5 people, and you know, like made it work. It's just that because of the drug use, unfortunately, fentanyl is like really making it hard that they don't want housing. They love to do it.
Yeah. So you got a pin here to ask James what we should do. Where are we? What can we do now?
What does it start with?
Yeah.
Well, I think it starts with immediately, that recognition is actually a big part, is for a decade or more. We can hear, well, it's homelessness. These folks, they're down on their luck. It's an unfortunate circumstance. And sometimes that's true. And so I went back to patrol the first time in 2012. And I've been gone since 97. So the circumstances had changed. I had a squad of people downtown. And I was perplexed because I see people are lying about on the sidewalk and whatnot. And I would tell them to move. This is back in 2012. Yeah. And they don't go to press. We don't do that here. There's a different precinct. I go south. So it's Radio Valley versus downtown. But I was perplexed by that. What do you mean? They are supposed to, at that time, breaking the law. Well, we don't do it. It's not, okay, well, this does not bode well. I hope this is not the harbinger of things to come. And I explained to Josh that at that time I had property in West Seattle that we were trying to develop. And I thought, I'm not sure if I do that. Maybe we need to get out of here. See where we're going. I foresee Detroit for a short time. And then I get back up as a next report. Optimistic. So I regained a breath of optimism. But I don't know, maybe it'll work out. But in the meantime, I'm perceiving that the echo all the time is, these are homeless folks that just need some help. And I'm talking to them. And I'm talking to people, young people who are really trying to prepare who. And I realize, anecdotes are just anecdotes all put together and all data. So they had come here from North Dakota, where they were making like $30 an hour making sandwiches. But it was hard, she complained to me. And so it was easier to come up here and live on the street because they got so much. And another observation I made was, it started out with people being well, doing good, bringing socks. And then one day, that changed to, may I take your order for you? And they're going out, giving their selection for what they want, their entree for the day. They have 3 or 4 options. You can go off and fetch it and bring it back to them.
Who's asking them for the
Various groups.
Volunteers, organizations, different people that are like helping.
Again,
Yeah.
all meaning well, but this is not helping these people.
It's actually making them more comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're not only are we,
Yeah.
as we used to say, that's a making behavior, right? And so that's going on. And it's just blossomed into this kind of migrated cancer, where there would be individuals who were out of luck, but they would stay. They got the help they needed and they got out.
Or you got a family members.
Yeah. So you can see success stories. I did see those. I don't want to like that. There were people who got into bad circumstance and they were working, they were scrambling trying to get a silver revenue. But those aren't the drug addict kind of things.
That sounds terrible, but I've already decided I don't feel so. It's just gonna burn out.
Well, Ron, do you, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're getting more and more aware of how the picking order start sifting down. And what we come into the conclusion is that police cannot do their work because the city cannot be effective because all those because are some of them elected people and some of them are assigned. How we get into the level of saying we elect judges that they look at the law in the way it's written and in the way they're meant to, and not about, oh, my feeling, like the little sign that you see, oh, no one is illegal, is the human race in here. And then how we sift that, that's one thing. Solutions from homeless are probably, like we said, one line. You can throw as much money you want into the deal. It will not work until you don't get people off the street, into treatment, out of treatment, be a good citizen. And there are the ones that they are lazy, that they like the style. You want to be hobo? Good deal. Go to the Canadian wilderness and deal with the bears there. Not in here. One-way ticket. And if we don't take these steps, if we don't create the environment, but then it will take a couple of generations, and it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, we start the process. Because even my daughter, my son-in-law, they've been putting their heads that everybody is this, it doesn't matter if it's yellow, white, or blue, they deserve the same things. Yes, they deserve the same thing, and that is called opportunity, not handout. But we're not creating that. How we come to create? Like you mentioned, the mayor trying to do something, but then they have 9 guys there that they will say no, because whatever.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I don't even know how many, because if I know how many, I will be more disillusioned than everybody. But that's the reality. And then we have a pool of people that come and say, oh, I want to change this, and they come with a broken heart. I want to change the homeless and all of that. Yeah, what's your plan? Well, nice. You have to be nice. You have to, no, you cannot be nice and solve a problem of drugs. You have to be firm.
It's like parenting.
It's parenting. It hurts, but sometimes you have to go and say, hey kid,
Yeah.
Good.
So we're at the
Good.
point
Yeah,
where
it's the-
we
yeah,
need to shake it up.
Yeah.
We need to
Yeah.
shake up the system and
Rip the Band-Aid off.
yeah, rip the Band-Aid off. We have some ideas for, and this is why we're very, like, Josh and I have been very, very adamant about meeting every single one of these candidates that are going on to city council.
please don't vote for
Because
Saka.
I just want,
Hey, we're gonna need you to, oh, sorry, no, I won't encourage
we
you.
need, whoever gets in to this new city council, it's 5 new seats. They might be the ones who show up, right? We need these new people to know that this city is beautiful and is capable of cleaning the shit up.
Shit, yes, it
And
is.
that is
Yes.
what needs to happen.
Yes.
And we have, as SRP for the Seattle Rejuvenation Project, we have 2 distinct ideas, one for homelessness and one for public safety. And I'm going to say that the one for homelessness is insanely innovative, very creative, and something that once it's implemented, the entire nation will look at us as a role model.
Nice.
The second one for public safety, I believe, begins with a mass media campaign for creating a culture that supports, respect the people that take care of us.
They're our friends.
Yes.
Well, we're friends with them.
The only
They protect our businesses,
Exactly.
our schools, our.
They enable us to feel safe. And you cannot learn, you cannot create, you cannot do anything until you feel safe. So it's really this mass media campaign for public safety paired with an innovative solution for homelessness is the top 2 priorities that I want to see happen. I've been listening to lots of business owners. Amber and Alex both know we've, over the last few years, talked to so many business owners, and those are the things that I've realized with the pairing of my mentor, who's a Navajo wisdom keeper, and the way in which indigenous people use and live with on this planet is much more sustainable than the way we do as current society. So I just pull some tidbits of knowledge from things I've learned from the Navajo and the Hopi, and I hope that we can implement that in Seattle in the vision that I can see, and I know Josh can see it.
The kids, 'cause I have my business across from high school, and on the office time, get your feet off the couch, do this,
Exactly.
They need to learn to handle it.
Some basic principles.
Basic principles.
Basic
Yeah.
principles, yeah. Respect.
Shouldn't we create
There's been a vacuum, I guess.
a manifesto?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's, so do you want to go through the site? It leads to this.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Because-
But that 2-prong approach is
Yes.
usually spot on.
Yeah.
Especially, I've told people, what we need for law enforcement, that piece of it, is basically a top-down movie.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe saw all kinds of recruitment 30 years ago.
No,
It's like, present a positive image.
Exactly.
that's exactly what we need. As a producer of content, as a producer of content, as a producer of content, you know, we've all worked in production. We can get this happening and we can do it.
But I think you're on the, see, where we have fallen, I think, is with the other side. I say the other side loosely, but the side, we call it the defund side.
Oh, gotcha.
You know,
Right.
the
But
other
we're
side,
not in the
no,
future.
But they've gotten, I still read the physical paper every day, and I've read it, these last 3 years have been unbelievable what comes out in the media about this, and
We're creating
the
media.
print that's come out. I thought, where's the other side? Where's the vocal majority?
That's where we're at.
What is it,
That's who we
vocal
are.
majority that's not.
You're shame. But-
You're in shame, yes.
But this is, so my background is media. I worked in TV news, live TV news for 7 years. I know how to create content. I know how to create news. We need good news. We need to stop talking about if it leads or leads. Like that
Is
it's
it
got to
budget
change.
for a
We need
for a
good
top
news.
of the
I know those
or
are
do
the
we
things.
do we need to make that happen?
So interestingly, a number of years ago, Pyro 7 did some stuff that we usually do. They did like an hour-long documentary on a CSI team that was being developed, and I was an original member of that. And so that was a really good press piece.
Yeah.
We milked the heck out of that.
Totally.
But it was a really good positive piece, which I got a phone call the other day from a guy at SPU who says, hey, he's got a student there that's interested in doing forensics work. Can you hook me up?
Yeah.
So even now, it's still paying some dividends. Yeah, stuff like that.
No, that is exactly
Is there a
what
budget within the STD though, or do we have to fund it?
Yeah, no, I'm afraid not.
we will fund it. We'll find the funding. The funding will happen. The funding will happen because this is a change that all aspects of the community want.
Actually, it's something, I speak too soon on that. The mayor's office is very, very involved right now in our recruitment, and then also the piece that we need to work on, retention. So there might be ready for that.
No, we're not afraid of funding. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna make this content.
You know, the other side of it too,
Yeah.
the other side of it too, which is kind of sad, and I'm gonna say, him and I have talked about this a little bit, is small business built America. And look at the small business that, like you say, your friend, downtown. Look at the amount of small businesses that the corruption of this state has taken down, the families, the businesses. And I'm going to tell you that, the area where I live, we work in a small little community in West Seattle on California Avenue, her and I. And, we can't lose these, we can't keep this pace because we're losing the good amount of good businesses that are not being replaced by anything any better. It's actually worse. And you're having empty businesses and owners that are having real. So it's a trickle down effect that I think we've been gutted here the last 10 years through bad decision making and the mismanagement of funds. When you say the homeless has been a 10 or 15 year project over the last 15 years or 20 years, whatever, and it's gotten so worse, we have to look at all this money of where it's going because it's going in the wrong pockets that are not hitting home.
Homeless authority.
Huh?
2.5, it was million.
No, but his salary was $250,000.
Oh,
that guy.
Oh no! The money's literally unmatchable. We could spend that money with this plan that she has, that her husband has been putting together for months and months and months and months on end.
Is this the homeless thing?
Yeah, he's going to be launching at the Rejuvenation Project in about a month.
Yeah.
And this plan, I'm going to tell you, is an iconic that cities are going to want to do this. And I think
To defeat the homeless industrial
to
complex.
defeat the homeless, we've been working. That's one thing, and I'm going to tell you, I want to work with you on the police to rebuild the police department. So these are the two most important things that the Rejuvenation Project is going to be working on in the next 6 months because the primary is in August, and then November is the action time for who's going to be actually voted into city council. So we need to have this group ready to help with at the brand new city council so we can start changing these initiatives and changing what's going on.
Inviting different districts. I know we're District 1.
Well, we're
We're
District
focusing
1.
on District 1 right now because it's what we have the biggest reach with, but we're definitely.
But we want to have other districts
All
that we want to
all
say
city
in
council
Ballard
offices.
and all these other districts that we have out around our city. Hey, if we can help promote what we think needs to be done too, and have them. We want to set teams up all over the place.
Yes.
Maybe we can double down. I'm on the Seattle Police Management Association board. We're doing the same thing, trying to arrange meetings with where we're bouncing right now. Well,
Well, that's a great idea.
yeah, we have the lame ducks who are leaving. Do we bother meeting with them now, or
We meet with the new people.
we need to establish.
Yes.
What's your
I would love to.
I don't know. It's just 3, 5.
I think we don't crack that off, but I think we focus on, because that's a loss leader. Whoever gets the police, whoever is voted in that district.
No, we're talking about the new people.
No, I understand, but the new person that I've read,
We have to
the
start
two that are leaving
to do the cleanup.
not quite as bad, but in that same.
Clean up the
We
politicians.
have 8 other districts, no, we have to really put our resources.
We have to stop the money
I
when
see what
they're
you're saying.
wrong, and I think it's.
I do think it's smart though to pool resources, especially with time management, to meet these candidates because these candidates are just as busy as all of us are. I've been dealing with them and setting up meetings, and it is a little bit difficult. But if we could pool those resources, get to know, because even if they are, say, a bad seed in the
Well, it's a loss leader because they're going to be the same.
I know, but we have the power as business owners, as people, as citizens in the city, to have influence on that.
At the very least, we can double team on the same messaging.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is where the mass media campaign comes in, because the only way to change minds of the mass is through mass media. Social media is great. It's a tool that can be used in a positive way, but the fact of the matter, at the end of the day, mass media still reaches the broadest reach.
Quick question.
I think though too, in this city, we have to do a big festival.
Yeah.
And that is in the city. We have to
That's the
have,
end of
me and you, and I was gonna tell this room here, this city has to be cleaned up before we show World Cup here in 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
If we don't do, I mean, this has to be the vision that we have starting today, that this is a major, major, major thing, because we're gonna have people from all over the world here, that we can impact them differently than the way our city is now.
I was in Qatar during
Huh?
this World Cup,
The vibe back.
and
The vibe back.
that city stepped up. It was really impressive. Like,
Bruce Harrell has gotta be, we gotta get everybody,
They're not ready.
we gotta get a budget of millions and millions of dollars to do design.
yeah.
You know, I was at a dinner party the other day and somebody said, almost like a defeated way, well, at least we're not Portland.
Right.
Well,
Well,
what kind of
very
statement
close
is that?
Yeah, what kind of statement is that? I don't,
They don't pull
SBU.
people over for stolen cars. My car just got stolen again, twice. I just picked it up from the impound. And I've never seen so many dilapidated RVs that are obviously not gonna go to auction. Why are the city of Seattle is paying Lincoln Towing for each one $50 a day?
oh, jeez.
And they're just, Lincoln Towing's like, sweet, whatever.
That's change. The corruption of SDOT.
Yeah.
That is the most corrupt
That
organization in
That should
such
go
a city.
straight.
So the website's still in development right now, so like a lot of the style,
Excuses.
like the wording. But
Just kidding.
but it's in progress. So here's the homepage. Whenever we get like businesses that do endorse us, I'd like to have like put their front and center.
That's where we want all the logos of the businesses of our board members, of the sponsors, that the businesses that sponsor us. We want that to be a big list.
Yeah.
I want freshies. I want the ones that the
No.
community recognizes.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
But
You were doing sandwiches like crazy.
yes, totally.
Good coffee.
You know, I want to ask you, what would you say, you know the situation better, right? Because what do you put on a timeline to make the city accountable, to put on as a
Fire inspector.
accountability to making these things, I mean, what's your vision of maybe time frame to rebuild this city? Because we've had our talks and differences of this.
Well, this woman from We Heart Seattle, she was on Cairo, and it was like Dave Ross or whatever, who's, he really is this way. And he was just kind of astounded because she's like, there's 3 things that you can do to get homeless, and I can do it in 6 months. One, you arrest. 2, get treatment, or treatment first, arrest, whatever. And then 3, get out. And that
Get
is
out where?
of the city.
Yeah.
Like, go back to where you came from.
Yeah.
And
Well-
you can have it with compassion, but you also have to be firm.
With a
tough
vision,
love.
things can happen faster.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that. I believe this community holds the resources. We have the money, we have the desire, we have everything in place. We're lacking the vision. That's where SRP comes in, is to give this city a full vision.
Without vision, the people will perish, it says.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
still have to there's still people, like when I live on the block, there's
Vision.
still somebody that's always just like,
You got a budget, say it or not yet? It is
A budget?
Yeah,
A budget of time or money?
money.
I think for this initial homeless push, realistically, we need 10 million.
Do you have uses of proceeds?
Sure.
Or?
Short.
I'm short. So we have some initiatives that we want. The Amplifying Voices initially came to us as a political action committee. I actually think it's bigger than that, because I think that needs to be our media budget. That needs to be our media campaign. If with a start of 20,000, we can at least get it started. And I would love to work with you to tell the stories that, need to be told. So that's what our amplifying voices basically comes down to. Dialogues that drive is exactly what we're doing already, that we have been doing. So it's a start campaign, just to start talking, start connecting. At the beginning of all of this, the reason that Josh and I are both so passionate about this project is because we not only love our own businesses, but we love art and music. And I know the musicians that exist in the city, and they can't even have a platform to have 20,000 people at for the last who knows how long, because the city can't support these amazing artists. We need to be able to create again and to make this culture.
What do you know? We have folk like and uppers.
And the film industry you were talking.
Well, and the film
Well, the
industry.
film industry.
That's a huge one, because it's been
We
over
need to
20
get money
years.
back into that, to bring back that joy and love of the city.
We're lacking in identity.
Identity.
Yeah.
We used to be neighborly.
We did.
We used to have pride in our neighborhood.
You know, it's more than that though, just being able to walk downtown after 8
Yeah.
o'clock at night and not feel like, what's around the corner? You know,
Yeah.
like we did with our kids when they were young or whatever. It's,
Yeah,
it's
well, when they
insane.
found my car, there was bent pill in there and something smoking on it. Fentanyl pill. And I took it. It was great. But I was just like, I have all the information. Like, I'm doing my own research because I'm more concerned. I know it's a student, it's a girl. I have her name, her number, and I just want to find her to just be like, or talk to her mom and just be
The
like,
road stole your car.
oh yeah. Yeah, just to get to the, as a parent, I would want to know if my kid is down.
He's a super nice officer that came into Freshies after when you got your
Yeah.
window smashed. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
West Seattle?
Yeah, West Seattle. Oh, I forgot his name now, but he was great.
yeah, he was. And I went to a concert, just whatever, and there's all these cops, and my partner and I were just like, thank you so much for your service, and they're just like, whoa. And I just want, and that's what I was thinking about, maybe bringing retired officers or officers, you know, like, bring your dad to work, but go into the elementaries and go into the middle
That's a great
school,
point. I
and
like
go into the
that.
high
Yes.
school.
Yeah.
And
Really like the
bring
word,
back
yeah.
that, like,
And I have to
respect.
talk to Seattle Public Schools. They're
Oh,
there,
Jesus.
so,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no!
Well, that,
Our
I didn't know
education's
that.
not back in the
I didn't know
police.
that.
That's insane.
It's terrible, it is.
Yeah, we don't have school resource officers there right now, and during the 2020, we used to, we were putting together a team like we
It's
were
sick.
Florent,
It's
oftentimes.
sickening.
We need a school parking lot, we're doing that at 3 o'clock in the morning. They said we don't want to use that.
You hear this?
Are they out of their minds?
That's
Wow.
ridiculous.
Lord.
No, they're not.
We gotta get
An exception to that.
No, personally, that's really.
This should go on video.
Yeah.
Well,
It
first
is.
of all,
It
is this
is.
on, aside
Oh,
from
it is.
everything else, but is this like district-wide or is it per school?
No, it was a policy that the Seattle Public Schools came out with, they didn't want us.
So we
Now,
should-
that may have abated, I don't know, I haven't been.
I'm not really sure push for that.
Yeah.
And if not, just be able to go to the different schools and,
Yeah, I think it is case by case at this point. Like I said, our experience with Greenwich High School, they adore us.
yeah.
They're very happy to have
I
us.
like that.
Okay, so Josh mentioned the corruption. We need to have a public audit, a legit audit of the community, the SDOT, and DPD is not called DPD anymore, it's called SDCI or whatever, the
Seattle
construction.
Department of Construction
There,
and
and inspections.
inspections.
Is
Yeah.
that Department of Planning anymore? That's
No, it's called SDCI, which is like,
They comprehend
they
the whole
changed the
thing.
thing, but whatever.
Running,
Those two organizations need a huge audit.
Yeah.
And we just think that, I know that we'll get probably a lot of flack for that, but that is something that I think is super important. Josh, I don't know
May I
about
suggest a
you.
finer point on that?
Yes.
I don't know if it would be encompassed in it or not, it might be, it
Yeah.
might just disperse the money.
Right.
I mentioned before, the homelessness complex,
Yeah.
all the agencies that receive so much. Again, back in 2012, I noted then, they were very, very closed with their books, and
Yes.
very upset when anybody dared to ask a question
Yep.
about it.
when the police department goes to a call, do they charge for the time that they're
No.
looking for? No. Well, that's another, they can charge because
You like the
the
ambulance
Department
service?
of Transportation does that.
Yeah, DOT
Oh,
does
yeah,
it, and
they-
so does DPD or SDCI.
They charge you extra.
Yeah,
for their service
Yeah.
at the rate that is unheard of.
Yeah, of course.
And then that's another source of revenue. When I asked why they do that, they said because we need to maintain the department.
Well, the other thing though, I don't know about you, Josh, but when they raised the minimum wage, it was all about, livable wage. And so I did payroll from the time, and then when they raised it, guess what? They made like maybe $5 more per paycheck. Because it all goes to
Yeah.
taxes.
It all goes to
So
taxes.
they're trying to just blanket.
They're blanketing
They're
yes.
not getting any of that.
No, it's all a facade.
And there are people, especially in service, that were relying on tips before,
Yeah.
then suffered a deficit, they're not making as much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also, like, I used to buy all you can eat, all you can drink, if you come in on your day off, no problem. But then I had to just scale. So my staff inadvertently, gets less. And of course, they're paying more taxes, I'm paying more taxes, and it's all because they want to live over the wage. It's like, they need to. And every time I do payroll, I have maybe 6 employees, ever since my downtown went down. I look at the taxes that they're paying, that I'm paying, and I'm just a tiny little business. There's so much money
Oh, yeah.
that is.
Accountability audit. I'm also going to say that one of the big things, I think you have to lead by example, and that's one of the reasons why SRP wants to have all of our books public.
Yeah.
Like everyone will know exactly what is getting paid for all the time. I think in real time. I don't know tech stuff if that can be real, but anyway. It's what, semi-real?
Semi-real, yeah.
Yeah.
The election integrity, I think, goes under that.
Yes.
Because I don't know
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
we pass anyone in their right mind.
No,
More
that's
money
huge.
to go into the homes, and it just came out, and it's just like,
Good money after that.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Melt the Freeze was initially why I started talking to Josh, because I had gone to Egypt and I channeled this book, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with it exactly, but I knew it had a purpose. And we just started talking about how no one likes Seattle vibes. There's the Seattle Freeze. It's like anywhere you go in the world, people are like, oh, it's such a beautiful city, but people are kind of rude, and it's like,
It used to be.
didn't used to be. But that's not the image I would like to continue projecting onto the world in Seattle. And so I named the book Melt the Freeze. Whatever, but I'm trying to bring it into my conscious mind to be more friendly to people, to be more open, to just lead by example. And those things exactly. And just
And a lot of people are panicking right now too.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
They're
even-
figuring out you just gotta be very soon, like when you're heading out of the house these days, for sure.
Yeah, and I noticed in my neighborhood about a year ago, I consciously started getting to know my neighbors. So I realized there were a lot of neighbors I didn't know. One of them just had a new baby. I brought over some food, and then I talked to one of the other neighbors, and she's like, "We brought him food too," and I was like, "This is awesome! All the neighbors, we all have each other's numbers now.
Yes.
We're all
You're building your community.
I'm building it on my own
bonding.
street,
Bonding.
and it's like, it's crazy how fast it grows, because now I know all the people on the other street that are above my dead end. Anyway, it starts small, but I truly am trying to do the things that we're talking about.
As you know, I live temporarily in a 6-unit condominium.
Yes.
3 of my neighbors don't talk to me because I watch Fox News.
Oh, God.
See, that's the divisiveness.
It's insane.
How do they know? How do they know you watch TV? How do they know?
Because I turn it on.
Now you sound like my dad.
Because I didn't.
I have friends like that too.
Right.
And people just lost their minds.
Come over and say, what the hell's going on here?
I'm a big thinker kind of guy, and it's really good at details, but they say storytellers rule the world, so it's just kind of telling your story,
Yep, exactly.
And how we grew up, it was better, it was safe, it was dignity, towards others. It was really being neighborly. Like I said, Josh and I have known each other for 45 years now, and through UW and through all these different areas, there's a lot of common bonds that Seattleites love, and we just got to really remember to have that common bond. But we'll drive the story by telling the story.
Exactly.
And people will get on board because it really does come down to energy and positivity, and that's what Josh is good at, is bringing people together from all walks of life. And then it's up to us to really drive that high energy, high vibe. We love the police. We're here to support them, and we're gonna really look into that.
Yep.
And we're excited to have you here.
Thank you for saying that. We are very excited.
A decade ago, I was at this event at the WAC, and Attorney General Meese was there speaking. And afterward, I was invited to come upstairs at a cocktail thing, and with him, and I was with 12 other people. It was a really small intimate group. And I'm standing there in a cocktail circle with four other people, one of them being the Attorney General. And I'm nobody for nothing. And here I am having a conversation with the AG of the United States. And I make a point on saying how nobody's climbing inner tubes trying to leave this place, but people do climb inner tubes trying to get here. So, and Ed Meese is nodding with me. I thought, wow, this is a great country. I'm fortunate to be here. Yeah.
It's all about telling a new story. I do think that it's important that we're not in the place we were when we were kids. The world is different now, and we're shifting. And so we really need to be a place where Seattle is, and our country is part of a world, a part of the whole planet. We all are connected nowadays. It's so easy to just either hop on a plane or on Zoom, and you can be connected to anyone in the entire world. And so, yes, America is amazing, but there's also a lot of amazing places, and we need to know that
Sure.
all these different cultures, we respect them all equally, and it's not just like a rock,
Yeah,
raw
I
kind of
don't know
thing.
how, back in the day, hippies was always love your country, don't trust your government. And now it's just flip-flop, where they hate the country and they want everyone to be.
Yeah, because they're getting handouts.
I
Socialism.
think it says it best, governs me harder than
So wild.
Do we have anything else we want to?
Can we build around that, become a government? Too much? Sorry.
I think it really starts with starting a new system. And yes, the government, it'll always be there. It should be a resource. It's a great resource. But we need organizations like nonprofits seems to fit the best into what
So listen, bureaucracy, small businesses want to come in.
and take a new
Well,
So, go ahead, Josh.
we have to, the city is gonna have to give incentives downtown in our downtown area, major tax benefits and major free lease rents for a while. They're gonna have to rebuild our communities down there.
yeah.
From restaurants to media, to everything. From the Nordstrom family, we cannot lose that building. If we do, that's
They
going to be
already
one of
moved out
the
of
biggest
downtown.
losses ever
Yep.
to this city.
Massive.
Massive.
Yeah.
And they're on a thin line.
Yeah.
Pete Nordstrom is here. He would be so involved in on this. So we have to get the Nordstrom family people on board on this. We have to get some of the big people that really do care about Seattle, because they're a Seattle-based family, first of all. That's where they came from. And you know what? They don't have good business going on down there. And they're probably, I can see them, if we don't pick it up in this city now, you're going to see some major bad business down there for a little while.
It used to be.
It's going to be Detroit, like we talked about.
This is, I'm going to say the thing, I have to go in a second, but
Yeah.
public safety. I honestly think the real root of all of this is public
It is,
safety.
this is
Everything
public
else
safety
aside, it's
first.
Public safety first.
Yeah.
Do you think we can recruit the right people?
I think we can. I think, to go back to the question earlier about how long it will take, and unfortunately my perspective on getting our policing levels back to where they ought to be is not very optimistic. And that is going to take some serious time. I'm thinking of, 10 years to get that accomplished. Now, the other end, though, as to the general fixing of Seattle, to your point, one, I believe it is still very, very fixable. We can turn that part around relatively easily, well, not easily, but in short order by embracing what you said. I don't know, if we do have enforcement combined with actual treatment modalities available to people, and just, you get what you tolerate. And if we refuse to tolerate the misbehavior and all of the social nonsense that goes on, that inhibits people from going downtown. I don't think it is downtown anymore. We used to go downtown movies, and now it's off limits.
But a recruiting point for a newbie that will come and say, "Oh, I would like to be in Seattle," is that he or she will know that it's backed up by the department,
Backed up by the council.
backed by the council, backed by the judges, and then if not, we'll say, "Why even bother?"
Yeah. I
We
know.
had a glimmer of hope with Ann Davidson, right? But does she have any? I mean, I know she's trying to make change, but is it really because she's just hamstrung by those five activists on the council?
Sure she is.
Yeah, that's, her job is to
Those
prosecute laws. She's
freaking
going to prosecute laws, they allow her to prosecute.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, it's almost 11.
Okay,
I want to be
yeah.
respectful of everybody's time. But I want to thank Josh for letting us be here.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you.
For making this happen, and all of you for being here and being open to the conversation and the willingness to just show up. I mean, that's a start.
But